Hi, I'm Richard Zarowski. Over the years, I've done a lot of work in front of the camera and behind the camera. This resume tape is just a small sample of the work that I've done over the years. Let's start with the weather.
At home here, we had -6 degrees for our high temperature. Our low temperature, the lowest temperature we've recorded yet this year and in this season since last year, a low of -16 degrees, and we had 1 centimeter of snow so far fallen outside, and we can expect to see some more. The temperature out there has started to drop. It's at -7 degrees. Relative humidity at 73%. The wind is now out of the south-southeast at 15 kilometers an hour, and the barometric pressure 102.2 kilopascals and falling. Now let's take a look at other sections of the country, or rather in another country. In Houston, 14 degrees, not 27. In Los Angeles, 19 degrees, and Miami has 25 degrees, so it's not too bad there. Sunny conditions in all those places. Let's move on to the jet stream now and see how far down south it pushes. That means cold temperatures across the central portions here, but way out to the west, it's way up to the north, and that's where the warm temperature is. A lot of precipitation there, though, but I think the people in Alberta are quite happy about that. As far as the clouds are concerned, none down to the south. That's why Miami enjoyed all that sunshine today, but we do have a cloud system moving in over the Great Lakes. That's where our snowfall is coming from. That's where the semi-moderate temperatures are going to be for the next day or so, a little above seasonable values. There's that system moving near the Great Lakes area. It's going to dump about 2 to 5 centimeters of snow on us. Lots of cloud pushing right up to the north. In behind it, though, some colder temperatures, clear skies, cold air moving in from the north, then some cloud over the northern prairies, and lots of cloud over southern British Columbia and Alberta. On the National Systems map, this is the way the systems looked. We had cold temperatures out to the east, lots of snow in the Maritimes, -13 degrees, winds up to 100 kilometers an hour, a large low pressure system causing that. They had some snow drifts as deep as 3 meters, that's about 12 feet of snow. Good thing it's not here. In Montreal, -18 degrees. Lots of sunshine there. That's a ridge of high pressure causing that. Out to the west, -11 degrees. A little warmer in through the prairies section to -7 degrees in Regina. Some snow flurries there. That ridge is starting to move in. 2 degrees in Alberta, both in Calgary and Edmonton. They had some rain showers there. And out in the west coast, in Victoria and Vancouver, 5 degrees, partly cloudy conditions. Not bad at all. And tomorrow across Ontario, if you think of traveling around, I don't think it's going to be a good day to do it because there's going to be a fair bit of snow around. -5 to -8 degrees are the temperatures from Toronto to Owen Sound and Muskoka. Lots of snow coming down there, particularly in the snow belt. It will be cold, but not as cold as it has been. We're looking at -4 to about -5 degrees. The winds will shift around to the northwest. That'll make things very cold for tomorrow night. And there will be snow flurries as the wind shifts around right along the lake area there. Our forecast officially tonight looks like this. We can expect to see about 2 to 5 centimeters of snow, as I've mentioned before. The temperature about -9 degrees for a low. For tomorrow, the snow should be ending by the afternoon, so let's hope it gets cleared. Then the sun will come out, the temperature near -4 degrees. For Friday, partly cloudy with flurries, the temperature about -9 to -11 for a daytime high, and much, much colder at night. For Saturday, partly cloudy, the temperature in and around -9 to -11. Again, still a slight chance of flurries happening on Saturday. And for Sunday, once again with the snow, the temperature -7 to -9. So count our blessings, at least we're not sitting in the middle of the Riviera expecting sunshine and getting snow.
Exactly. Actually, it looks kind of pretty out there, like a Christmas card or something.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you very much. Canada has a new...
We have a heavy snowfall warning in effect for South Shore, Eastern Shore, Sydney, Brador. Also a weather advisory for the rest of Nova Scotia, and we can expect to see 5 to 10 centimeters of snow in the southern areas of New Brunswick, then 2 to 5 centimeters of snow across the rest of the maritime regions. And all this is subject to change, particularly on the south and eastern shore. The threat of the snow switching over to freezing rain and ice pellets and rain is there. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the weather. Out to the west, we've got a little bit of weather out there over British Columbia. They're getting some rain with the warm temperatures. As far as the Maritimes goes, this is the disturbance we're looking at. That'll be moving through. Good news is it's moving through rather rapidly, and by the wee hours of the morning, the precipitation is going to start. So first thing in the morning, give yourself a little bit of extra time because you're going to have to shovel out the car, and it's going to be slippery going out there because of this disturbance moving through. Temperatures today range from about -8 to -15 degrees along the east coast, down to about 28 degrees in Miami if you had the good fortune. I should say up to 28 degrees when you go down to Miami. And then the central prairies are frozen solid. Take a good look at these temperatures, Steve, because that's what we're going to be getting late Saturday, early Sunday. Sunday, very, very cold temperatures. The Siberian Clipper is on the way, and in part we can thank our good old friend the jet stream for that, pushing way down to the south. That allows all that Arctic air to move in through our region. So, forecast in detail looks like this. For tonight, we're going to start out with partly cloudy conditions to mostly cloudy. Then the disturbance moves up after midnight, and by dawn, the southern areas and central areas of the map will be looking at snow. Temperatures to the north -14 to -18, out to the east -13, then down to the south around -6 to -8 degrees. Then for tomorrow, the system continues through. Good news is it's moving rather rapidly, and as I mentioned, up to 15 centimeters of snow before it switches over to rain. Where exactly it's going to switch and when, that is the question mark, but temperatures will be rising throughout the day. By evening, the disturbance pretty much out of the maritime region since it is moving so rapidly, but there's another one on its heels. For tomorrow across Canada, the deep freeze continues in through the prairie regions, still down to -25 to -28 in the southern prairies, -32 degrees for the daytime high in Whitehorse. As far as our three-day outlook goes, well, clouds stick around for Friday, finally move out on Saturday. The wind picks up, the temperature falls, so daytime highs between -8 and -15 degrees. Then for Sunday, sunny but oh so cold, -10 to -20 degrees for the daytime high, near record temperatures. We're looking at wind up to 70 kilometers an hour, Steve, wind chill values. I don't even think you'll be able to find them, they'll be so low. That is your weather forecast. Drive safely.
I've also done long format documentary. One of them was called Megastorms for the Discovery Channel. Let's take a look at that.
After courageously going through the center of the hurricane, the plane has successfully completed its mission. Now, their prayers go to the people of Halifax.
And I think it was around that time, you know, we're talking about 12:30 a.m. now, and that's when Halifax was hit the worst, between 12:30 and 1 a.m. And I could tell that things were getting bad on the ground because Jim, you could tell his adrenaline was pumped because the winds were really starting to pick up at that time. He was describing how the windows in the weather office were starting to bow in, you know, several inches.
For the next hour and a half, Hurricane Juan would ravage the city with its high waves and devastating winds. The citizens of the city waited in their homes, not knowing what to expect. In just a few short hours, it lay waste to the city, leaving its residents confused, stunned, and awestruck, not to mention without power. It was a fierce and frightening meteorological event that lies in waiting out at sea, promising to strike more and more often into the future. For the people of Halifax who have become unaware of its potential, the first cut is the deepest.
This is called Finding Zarathustra. It starts with a Z. It took us to Iran, India, and the UK, and was a 2-hour documentary for Vision TV.
Even in India, Zoroastrianism has had to change. The day after we saw Khorgeste and Feroza Mystery, Aunt Jasmine and I visited this holy site. It's a dakma, or a tower of silence. Parsis used to bring the dead here to be exposed to the open sky and consumed by vultures. This is considered purer than burial or cremation. But as the city grew, the vultures disappeared, and dakmas like this one were abandoned.
You know, it's heartbreaking to sit here and take a look at the dakma just outside of Yazd. It's crumbling, it's dying, it's falling apart. It's got graffiti on it. You can hear the motorcycles in the background. Young boys, men driving through the area. This is a sacred place, a place where perhaps thousands were put to rest. And yet we're watching it crumble. We're watching it in need of repair. As I said, it's heartbreaking to listen to it, to see it. The city's encroaching on the dakma, the towers of silence. They're no longer in use. They haven't been used in 50 years. They're 150 years old, and as I said, hundreds, perhaps thousands, were given their final
resting place here.
This next documentary was also done for Discovery Channel. It was called Chipheads. You know, so much has been written about the internet, and I couldn't possibly read it all in a lifetime.
And what's worse is that much of it is hype, especially what you hear on the tube.
That's us, folks. To say we're going to tell you all about the internet is ludicrous. There's just not enough time, and there's so much material. What we will do is give you a taste and a touch of the highlights. I've also done children's production. I was the host, producer, writer, and director for a series called The Adventures of the Aftermath Crew. Today, the Aftermath Crew is going to go out there on a scavenger hunt and look for those special surfaces. All right, you guys ready?
Yep. Yep.
On your marks. Get set. Go!
Oops.
Hey, you're back! What'd you find?
Well, I decided to take a bird's eye view of the world and a look at the surface of the Earth from a geostationary satellite.
Now that is some surface. What else do we have?
I'm taking another route. I'm looking at the surface of this water droplet using a microscope.
Wow, from macroscopic to microscopic. The surface of a water droplet. Amy, what do you have?
Here, I'll show you.
Whoa! Now that's some surface. Surfaces are awesome. And by using them in mathematics, we make sure we have everything covered. Through the power of mathematics, we can go virtually anywhere, learn anything, and explore hidden sites and treasures. For the infinite power of mathematics and the Aftermath Crew, I'm Richard Zarowski. This next one is called Wise Weather-Wise, a series of 65 two-minute weather shorts for children. This is called heavy rain. I was afraid this was going to happen. Good thing that they have their umbrellas. A little rain never hurt anyone, but this is ridiculous. Rain doesn't come from nowhere, but it does come from thin air. It's actually there, invisible, until you have the perfect conditions. Here's how it works. In order to have really heavy rain, you must have a source of water. Then a little warmth to make the water evaporate. If you've got enough water and evaporation, you need the final ingredient to fill out the recipe. Something cold to condense the water vapor. If you have that, that leads to clouds. And if you can keep the cycle going, you can get a lot of rain. This is a recipe that works all over the world. Places that have oceans, onshore winds and mountains, like Hawaii and East and West Canada, have some of the rainiest weather in the world. They can get as much as 15 feet of rain a year. It's like having a giant lake over your head. Uh-oh. Now all we need is an umbrella. Thank you for taking the time to view my resume tape. I hope you enjoyed what you saw.